Hey guys, this is Ambasa here from Aalok Institute. Today we will discuss about steps to connect MySQL instance using the GUI tool called MySQL Workbench. So GUI stands for Graphical User Interface. So I have mentioned step number 1 to step number 7. What all steps today I will demonstrate for the given agenda. The step number 1 says here you have to connect to your MySQL instance machine, and again the IP address and the OS username you have to go ahead and refer it accordingly. Once after you connected to your MySQL instance machine, then you will connect to your MySQL instance with the super user, followed by you have to create the MySQL instance user. And once that user gets created, that username can be anything. In my case, it's I given create user Ambasa and identified by the password. The password has to be in a single quote, and whatever password you can mention it. And then we will go ahead and create a database. The database name also can be any name. In my case, it's a DB01. So those whatever you prepared above, like the username and database name, along with the machine details what you have taken, those all you have to just mention it or just make it ready. Later you download the software called MySQL Workbench, and then we will go ahead and install it, followed by we will go ahead and connect to this MySQL instance. This is what the agenda has been set. Let's go ahead and do it with practical part. I'll connect to my SQL instance machine. Let's go ahead and do it. Here we go. You can say here this is my IP, and the IP is already mentioned. It is just in our case it's 192.168.56.11, and in real time it can be any IP, followed by the OS username. In my case it is MySQL, and password you have to mention it. After once you connected, you just have to go ahead and connect your instance. Let's go ahead and do it. MySQL followed by user root and respective password you can mention. Now we are connected to MySQL instance. Let's go ahead and prepare the user, whatever it has been mentioned in our given step. Let's do it here. This is like a create user username identified by and the password. Here you go. Create user username and identified by and the password. Put it in single quote. Hit enter. The user gets created. Let's create a database. I already mentioned here create database and database name. Sometimes it is called schema name. Create database. That's it. So these are the two information or steps has been prepared. Again later we will use that. I have already mentioned here the IP address and the port number, whatever it has been. Maybe we have to refer it. Let's go ahead and check PSFNEF pipe grep MySQL D, and it is running. And here you can just ignore your grep option, -v the grep. You can see that this is MySQL D and its process ID is 1671. Let's check netstat -bant pipe grep, and this is my PID and this is my port number. You just change it accordingly. Here you go. After whatever the port number has been mentioned or the running instance, you have to collect based on this commands which has been mentioned here. Once you noted that, okay, this is what I have to use it to connect, let's download the MySQL Workbench software. So I have already taken a screenshot, maybe I can just show you, and also then we will go through that same how you refer it. Here you go. This is my download steps for the same. Here you go. This is mysql.com website I opened in the browser. Let's click on download and right click. You can right side you have to scroll down, and there you can click on this download part. So from here I had once after clicked download, so I may see the list of things has to be downloaded, but in our case it is a MySQL Workbench. Let's click here. As I mentioned, there are many more operating system, but in our case I'm using a Windows in my laptop, so I will be using the same, or I'll keep it as it is. So here's my download options. Let it download. It asks for again login or sign up, or maybe just start download. Click on this, just start my download part. So here you can see it is in progress about my download part. After download, just double click here. So once it is double click, it will get open this page. In this page, you have to click on next. So it will ask you where you want to keep my software. So previously it says that welcome for the page which is we called startup to go for installing MySQL Workbench. I'll say click next. So this is my default locations to keep my software, which is MySQL Workbench. I'm okay with that. And it will ask for, do you want to go for custom or complete? So better to go for complete, which will help you to get all features to be used. And then go for click on install. So it is said that it is ready to install. You just hit install, so it will go ahead and complete the installation part. So it is asking for the confirmation. I give on yes. So now here it is started my installation. So it is very simple. Download it and install it. So after download, double click and then it gets opened, and follow those instructions. So maybe previous steps what I have taken, just let me iterate the same. So what I just mentioned here, you follow. This is a screenshot. After download, it may downloaded like this. So double click on that. So it may ask you, do you want to proceed with the installation? Yes, click on next. So it will ask you proceed with the, again these are the you can say the location, keep next, and go ahead and complete the installation. Select the type would be complete, and go ahead and proceed for install. So it may show you in the progress like this, and finally it will ask you it's completed. Shall I go ahead and launch this? You click on finish, it will open that MySQL Workbench. So an example in our case, here go what we referred, this is completed. So this setup says that, do you want to launch it? Launch is nothing but it will open this MySQL Workbench. Say finish here. So it may get open this MySQL Workbench like this. So what you have to do, you have to click on this plus symbol here. So it may ask you the connection name. It can be anything. Let me just give it as a server 1, and the IP address of your MySQL instance. Let me put that 192.168 and 56.11, and port number 3306. It is the default, and that is also the same in our case. The username, I need to put whatever has been just prepared, and store in the vault. It is actually asking for the password. Put it password here, whatever has been mentioned. In our case it's A, and followed by test the connection. So once after clicking the test connection, it may ask you the server is a different version, MySQL Workbench is a different version. Is it okay to proceed? Yes, please continue. And it says that here the successful test the connected. So the connection test has been successfully completed. So click on OK, and here also click on OK. So this gets prepared here. You double click on here, then this connectivity gets established. So now here you can check your user and your database where you have connected. Just click on here execute. So it may give you the output like you are connecting from this machine and you are connected to so and so database. So the database name, you just have to refer it. Let's say example, I will go back to my, just close this option and back to my home section. So right click, edit the connection. So there you have to mention the schema name, that is nothing but your database name. So put that as well and say test one more time connection. Say password, you give it here. So it may say that whatever the password you have to give it, you have to make sure that password has to be given. But the user do not have any privilege. Let's give him the privilege. Let's go for here. Let's connect back to my root user. So here, and just say that show grants for, the username is Ambassador here. So he do not have any privilege apart from he can connect to my instance, not to my database. So give him some grant, select on tb01.asterisk to my user, and then it is done. So let's say try now. So test one more time. Say OK here, test connections. Continue, yes please. Test it, say OK here, and now say close it. So after that, double click again. So it is now connected. Let's go ahead and check. Select user and database. You can just execute it now. It may show you database as well. That's it. It is so simple. You can just follow the instructions, whatever has been mentioned. So please make sure that once you create a, now this steps is already mentioned. Once you create a user, the user can connect to my instance, but he cannot enter to the database or schema. So for that, some additional privileges is required. So those, one of the additional privileges, if you give it, so the user can enter the schema or he can use that schema for your MySQL instance. That's it for today's agenda, whatever has been set. So the agenda, what has been set is connecting to MySQL instance using graphical user interface called MySQL Workbench, and this is what I have referred here. This is my tool name called MySQL Workbench, and this is what we have used. We called here graphical user interface. Tool name is for MySQL Workbench, and that is what has been used to connect to my SQL instance. That's it, and thank you for watching. Take care and bye bye.